So I want to just let everybody know that today's event, like yesterday, is connected by video to all of our sites in both Albany and Morgantown, and it's being shared publicly through live stream on NETL's YouTube channel. I think it's a great thing. So you're going to, in a few minutes, you're going to hear from both of our distinguished guests. But first, I just want to just take a moment as a lab director to just tell everybody a little bit about this lab, show you the excitement inside of the laboratory from my eyes. So we've had an exciting 2 days. Yesterday we toured our Morgantown lab. We visited some of our regional energy partners on a tour of Longview Power Plant. And this morning we participated in an ethane storage hub roundtable at West Virginia University, followed by this opportunity to be here at our Pittsburgh campus, where we had an opportunity to talk about functional materials, about the great work we're doing in terms of making sure we have wellbore integrity and the safety of those issues. So we had an opportunity to share that and those perspectives with both the congressman and the secretary. And we've had a lot of discussions over the last couple days that are right, we can't be more proud being the researchers and scientists inside of NETL, and I can't be more proud being the director, but talking about, how do we think about discovering cleaner, cheaper, more efficient energy conversion technologies, and how do we think about the production of high-value energy commodities. We just came from one of our laboratories where we talked about, how can you potentially take from coal and turn that coal into something that would then create light? Now, if you can just think about those kind of things and start thinking about the synthesis of materials and products and the things that we can add value to, we're really looking at opportunities for the future, developing technologies that really are improving the effectiveness and the economics of producing these fossil energy resources, looking at the entire energy infrastructure and how do we actually contribute to the improvements of that infrastructure. And more importantly, the entire energy workforce that cuts across to help deliver that. So at NETL, we all, every one of us, all 1,200, 1,300 of us, are all about fossil fuels to produce clean, reliable, affordable, things that help support the economics and economic prosperity, energy that is supporting advanced manufacturing, infrastructure, global competitiveness, which is near and dear to all of our hearts. As a lab director, if you both don't mind, just let me at least have a proud moment here and talk about the things that I think that this laboratory has done and the successes it has brought. Enabling these steep reductions in mercury and other power plant emissions. That's all this organization. Can't be more proud of that history. Creating pathways for economic recovery of what we're seeing today in the shale oils and gases. Again, the work that's being done here. The fact that we're brought on as experts to help in things like Alyssa Canyon or when there was a Deepwater Horizon oil spill. That's when this organization came to the helm and really helped this country. And so we're proud of this, we're proud of these accomplishments, and we're also looking way into the future, right? We're thinking about methane hydrates and what does that do, and what kind of energy source that could be in the future. We spent some time, both yesterday and today, really talking about rare earth element recovery, and what's our role in that, and what does that really mean? But if in the United States, if we're able to recover rare earths from simple materials like coal or coal fly ash, just think of the economic opportunity that brings to this country. We all know that in our cell phones and our TVs all has some form of these elements, and to be doing research that brings that foundational work and economics back into this country is a wonderful, wonderful thing. We talked about carbon to advanced materials and advanced manufacturing and how NETL as an organization, the research and science that's going on here is helping us go to the next generation of actually taking things, carbon from whether that's from coal or from the natural gases that we have available and turning that into product. So we're proud of our past. I think we are tremendously, tremendously excited about our future. And now I'm going to turn it over, and we're going to hear from our very honored guest. So first, I would like to introduce Congressman Tim Murphy. He represents the 18th District of Pennsylvania. Congress Murphy earned a BS from Wheeling Jesuit University and a Master's of Science from Cleveland State University and a PhD from the University of Pittsburgh. And I know we got a lot of those Pitt fans here, so who on that? First elected to the House in November of 2002. He's currently serving his 8th term in the U.S. House of Representatives. He's a chairman of the House Energy and Commerce Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigations. He serves on 3 other subcommittees on Health, Energy, and Environment. He serves as a Speaker Select Task Force on Cybersecurity, another important area for us here at NETL. It's just a delight to have him here. So with that, I'm honored to present to you our Congressman, the Honorable Tim Murphy. You're welcome.
It's great to be back home here with Nettle. Anybody here a constituent? Okay, this qualifies as a town hall meeting. Mr. Secretary, thank you so much for being here. It's exciting to have you here as an Air Force veteran in particular. I'm in Navy, currently serving the Navy as a Navy psychologist, and it's always nice to see someone else from that 1% that served. But I have to ask, anybody else here a veteran or currently serving the military? Thank you. Thank you so much for serving. We're excited about all those things because that's a great value in terms of energy. We know the Westinghouse was here, and Governor, I'll give you a little trivia. I don't know if you know all these things, but the great battle between George Westinghouse and Thomas Edison about AC versus DC current was Westinghouse said AC, and Edison said no, DC current, that's the way to go, and we saw who won. So that was good. A local boy makes it big. Although we like Thomas Edison, he helped out a lot too. He's a good man. It was amazing to me. I was taking this tour with the secretary, asking all the great questions to the scientists here, and obviously he knows his stuff, having worked in Texas for a long time. I know when I was visiting Texas a few years ago, because I wanted to talk to many of the natural gas companies down there about the Marcellus Shale, it says, as you start to do this, we want to tell you something about Pennsylvania. And it was amazing to me how many of those folks from so many companies had Penn State diplomas on their wall and terrible towels there as well, which is good. But you do have your Dallas Cowboys, and a gentleman that dated my daughter for several years by the name of Sean Lee, linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys. He's doing you good down there, so we're happy about that. A couple of the things I mentioned to the Secretary before. Every square inch underneath our feet has coal, has natural gas. It's plenty of it, and the good news is it's ours. We don't have to import any of this. We are not subject to the political or military threats of Gazprom. We have these things, and a few years ago when people were arguing about peak oil and we're not going to have enough energy, I was talking to the Secretary before, it's similar to about a century ago when the U.S. Patent Office said we might as well close down because everything that can be discovered has been discovered and nothing new is going to come of that. That usually is the squeeze just before the next paradigm shift, which is what happened as the Industrial Revolution moved forward dramatically with the Energy Revolution, which is where we are now. In this area, too, I do want to mention that a couple of days ago I visited the Tenaska natural gas power plant going up in Westmoreland County. And in that, which is being built by a couple of contractors, it has 600 construction workers at its peak, about 1,200 over time. 80% of that work crew is a lot of local folks from the IBW, the Boilermakers, carpenters, plumbers, iron workers, operating engineers, cement masons, millwrights, laborers, and hundreds of millions of dollars in wages alone. Yet when that plant's done, it's going to take 25 people to operate it. And it's going to have from it steam turbines coming from South Carolina, Georgia. It's going to have pipes manufactured in Little Rock, Arkansas, electrical breakers from Greensburg, and put out 925 megawatts of power, enough to power 925,000 people. And its power source comes from underground in the Marcellus Shale, directly below the plant. Pretty amazing to think that that incredible economic input that is so close. And we have seen a lot come from natural gas in the Marcellus Shale, and the Devonian Shale, and the Utica Shale, and who knows what other undiscovered resources down below. But we've also seen a lot that has come from coal. I was talking with one geologist one time. He says, you know, the Pennsylvania coal seam, the Pittsburgh coal seam, which is a massive area, has probably had greater economic impact than any other mineral resource on the planet. And I said, that's a pretty broad statement. But he says, if you look at what it's done for industry and steel and everything else over centuries of time, it really has that multiplier effect. And so, too, we see this multiplier effect from the work you've done, work you're doing here, and it's really exciting to see these transitions and new paradigm shifts taking place as you hit one wall, the next one opens up and move forward. Also, I wanted to mention some of the innovative and over-the-horizon thinking, too. Many of you know our airport has Consol drilling for natural gas there, ship it up on pipelines. But when you think that they're also beginning to talk about, well, what if we have a power generating plant here? So the airport's electricity could all come from the Marcellus Shale on site. And what if we made jet fuel here? And what if the whole Pittsburgh airport doesn't have to import anything? It's all really self-sustaining. Quite a unique thing that would be. And we know with the 9/11 Air Reserve Base there with the C-130 planes, I asked Secretary Perry if he wanted to jump behind the wheel and fly another one of those again, but not today. No, okay. You used to do that. You used to do that, right? I could see him with his goggles on, you know, with Flash Gordon look to him. If be up there. But it's exciting. I just want to mention, Secretary, one other thing about the issues going on here. It's nice to have these resources, but we got to do something with it. It was exciting to see President Trump in Poland the other day talking about these partnerships we have. We know Poland. I'm the co-chairman of the Polish caucus, a name like Murphy. Well, I'm half Polish. But they have been begging us for years for natural gas. When I was in Ukraine last year, the same thing. Please send us natural gas. Please send us coal. Help us with energy resources. The Baltic states, the same. And to be able to send that over, so instead of being under the boot of the great Russian bear, they can have some independence and grow with their strength. We can have aircraft carriers and submarines and bombers all through the deal, but none of that's going to have an impact. But saying we can help the world with its energy resources coming from out here in western Pennsylvania with coal and natural gas, and our nuclear industry with Westinghouse is pretty exciting news. That being the case, however, it doesn't do any good if you can't get it from here to there. When you look at some things that happened when the governor of New York said we're not going to allow pipelines in New York, we're not going to have drilling for natural gas. One company alone, their stock plummeted $500 million in that day that the governor said that. Although they worked their way back up from that, it does have a huge economic impact. Building pipelines would be hundreds of jobs, but those jobs are stopped. In Pennsylvania, our own governor says, sure, we want these pipelines, but we're not going to allow DEP to review any permits to have 100% of land acquisition. Now, that's not required for anything else. Even PennDOT only requires 60% land acquisition, and then you can start moving forward with permits. So it's a way of slow walking things and having the various departments in the government work against the economy. And that's the very kind of thing that this administration and we in Congress want to stop that. Government should not be a place that stops you from working and being better in your jobs or as a nation. It should be a place that says, unleash the genius of America and let us move forward and make this a stronger and better country. And that's what we want to see happen. And that's why it's exciting to have our 14th Secretary of the Department of Energy here today. And his agency is tasked with safe, secure, and effective nuclear deterrence, overseeing United States energy supply, and managing the 17 national laboratories. We're so glad you're here at the best one today, and we want to make sure the funding keeps coming through for some of our work here as well. He's the longest-serving governor in Texas history from 2000 to 2015, with the 47th governor of Texas, 3 full terms. Texas is the 12th largest economy in the world, and a lot of that, of course, is from energy. Wyoming is number 2 as far as energy goes. Pennsylvania is number 3, and West Virginia is number 4. But under Governor Perry, Texas became the national leader for job creation, innovation, population growth. I teased him before. We saw his ads trying to take some of our people away too, and it's energy that's helping us to bring people back and grow here. Also, while he was there, it did something pretty remarkable that skeptics may or cynics may not believe, but the air quality was improved. Major reductions in carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen oxide emissions, which shows you really can do both. You can grow the economy with energy and you can clean up the environment at the same time. As I mentioned before, a veteran of the U.S. Air Force from 72 to 77, flew those C-130 tactical airlift aircraft in Europe and the Middle East. A lovely wife, Anita, and his 2 children and 2 granddaughters are probably the biggest accomplishment that he would boast of, and we are so excited to have you. So, Mr. Secretary, welcome to Nettle and welcome to the 18th District.
Doctor, thank you very much. I love the mood lighting. It's pretty awesome. I don't know how y'all turn that off, but you can cut them back on. We're mooded out. I have a hard enough time keeping them awake as it is, so it's kind of like that's not help with that. So anyway, hey, let me tell you, is there an electrical engineer in the room? I know there is. Doctor, the doctor said something that was really fascinating when he talked about the genius of America, and I'm looking at it. Over the course of the last 5 months, I've had the privilege to be able to really immerse into the Department of Energy, and a fascinating place on its face. But in these national labs, the men and women who work there truly are the genius of America. And I know how privileged I am to get to be able to be a partner with you, to be on the DOE team. So one of the reasons I wanted to come here today is not only to learn what you were doing, but to also tell you that it is not lost on a lot of people in this country about what you do. Part of my job is to go share with people what you do, to make sure they recognize what jewels these national labs are in particular. When you think about the history of what you all have done, whether it's making the term acid rain a memory that some of you are not even old enough to remember, and it's because of the work right here at NETL and some of the offshoots of that. I don't know whether to call you doctor or commander or congressman, so I'll just call him Tim. We made that deal. He said, "What do I call you?" And I said, "Well, Rick's good, just don't call me late for dinner." But we got a great working relationship with members of Congress like Tim Murphy and his expertise that he brings, and you know. But I also wanted to come here today, and yesterday I was in Morgantown, to share with those of you who get to work with an amazing lab director. Grace came to Washington. She probably thought for just maybe a week or so back earlier to be the acting Secretary of Energy. And it lasted a little longer than she and her family wanted it to, and longer than I wanted it to too, but that's a whole nother story. But she is an amazingly capable, calm, brilliant leader who's got a really interesting background coming from DOD and doing the materials work that she did over there, so which is a perfect fit for coming over to NETL and the work that she's doing. So Grace, let me just say thank you with the rest of the folks here. You've done. I've been over to Idaho, to the Idaho National Lab, Los Alamos. We were at Oak Ridge and now at this lab, and you know there's 17 of these really amazing laboratories of innovation, and that's what I get excited about every day, that waking up and I get to go work with some men and women who really make a difference in people's lives. I hope all of you recognize and appreciate what a blessing that is, that you make a difference in people's lives. There's a lot of people get up every day and don't have that knowledge that they really make a difference in the world they live in. You don't have that problem. When you think about what you're working on, when you think about the results of people who came before you and what you're going to do going forward, it is a true testament to what the genius of America is really all about, and the things that we're going to get to work on together. I always chuckle at folks that tell us that, you know, the science is settled on a particular area, whatever that may be. I was with Senator Manchin yesterday We were both governors together. Matter of fact, we were together when Katrina was coming into the Gulf Coast, and I had to leave early from a place we were meeting and to go back home to help prepare for landfall. We were pretty sure it wasn't going to come into Texas, that it was beginning to move and was going to hit Louisiana, but we needed to be there to be prepared to just in case, because these things are very erratic. And anyway, long story short, the place we were at, there was a gentleman who was giving a speech about peak oil. This is in 2005. All of the fossil fuels had been discovered that were retrievable, and the decline graph was down, and that was it, and that science was settled. He wasn't telling us what the alternative was going to be, but it was that we'd found all the oil. Peak oil had come, and the days of fossil fuels were basically on their way out. Well, fortunately, there were some people in national labs that didn't necessarily buy into that. There were some people in the private sector, like George Mitchell, who didn't necessarily believe that that was true, that there were some technologies like hydraulic fracturing. And if my memory serves me correct, it was an NETL lab that was involved with some of the directional drilling and the being able to put onto those bits polycarbonate particles that were able to really make those bits amazingly efficient for directional drilling. And today, America is on the verge of not just being energy independent, but energy dominant. And why that's so important, and why what I saw yesterday at Maysville and the Longview plant there, and that high efficient, low emission coal plant is so important for the future. I mean, those technologies that we can make available and we can sell to our friends in other countries like China, like India, that are going to build huge amounts of power plants in the next 20 years. And those plants, a lot of them are going to be coal plants, and we want them to be able to have plants that their environment is affected in a positive way. So being a part of that is a fascinating opportunity. While I was the governor of Texas, we put in place some policies and what have you, and people wanted to move to our state. I mean, there was this massive migration of people from different areas of America and even outside of the country to Texas because they knew that they could come there, risk their capital, and have a chance to have a return on their investment. And the job creation was massive. We created more jobs in Texas during that 2000 to 2014 period. I mean, there was a time, I think a 3 to 5 year period of time, there were more jobs created in Texas than the other 49 states combined. I know you're getting tired of hearing about Texas, but it's got a result here that's important. We added 7 million people to the population rolls during that period of time. Now, we're a big state, but 7 million people, you know what 7 million people is? That's a lot of pickup trucks. Right? It's a lot of non-point source pollution. We had this growth in the manufacturing side. Speaking of pickups, every Toyota pickup truck manufactured in the United States is manufactured in Texas now. You had this petrochemical manufacturing production area along the Texas Gulf Coast, larger than any other in the United States. And, just that is an area that, because of where the latitude is prone to be very high in ozone production. So all of that, your conventional wisdom told you, yeah, it was all good. You guys put tax and regulatory, legal policies. You had a skilled workforce with education policies, and people moved there, created wealth, created jobs. But boy, you probably played the dickens with your environment. All that growth, all those people, all those pickup trucks spewing out their tailpipes. That huge petrochemical manufacturing area and the ozone, the emissions. That's what conventional wisdom might want you to believe. Might have got even reported that way. But the truth is that nitrogen oxide levels during that period of time went down by around 65%. SO2 levels down by around 56%. Total carbon dioxide levels by almost 20% reduction. The point is that innovation, technology, incentives that we can together put into place, you can have economic growth and you can take care of your environment. And that's what the innovation that you all are involved with at our national labs to make available to our allies around the world, for instance, to be able to give them hope for a better future. That hope may be in the form of, Tim, reasonable options for power so that they're not held hostage, as he shared with you. I think this whole concept of America energy dominance is really important for us as a country so that our allies know that there's options. They don't have to buy it from the United States, but we want to give them options of where they buy that energy from. It may come from Qatar, it may come from Australia, it may come from the United States, but they won't be held hostage by one country like Russia, who may not have their best interest in mind in the long term. So all of that and what's going on in the world today, I'm excited to be a part of this with you because I know that the hope for the world, from my perspective, a lot of it lies in this country with men and women who are brilliant, who are innovators, who will come up with ideas and concepts. And a lot of that's going to be in a DOE national lab. So I wanted to come here today and you know, one of the things that I saw here, Tom down in the, there you are. I see you back there, Tom. Tom's back there where all these rare earth elements are being discovered and identified, and it's really interesting. I think, you know, if there are some who have political reasons for wanting to say we're going to use this fuel or what have you, and I get that, and that's, you know, that is what it is. I'm an all of the above person, and the market will kind of sort this all out. Our job is to be. It's okay to be a skeptic. It's okay to ask questions. I think it's what science is really all about. And if we hadn't been looking at coal fly ash, we might not have discovered that there's some rare earth minerals that we can extract from that and really change the balance of power in the world when it comes to rare earth elements. And it's happening right here in this lab. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that changes the dynamic in the world. And it's exciting to be able to be a part of that. And what you all are doing here is nothing less than this is good stuff. I told somebody, I said, being the governor of Texas, best job I ever had. But officially, the coolest job I've ever had is being the Secretary of Energy. And it's because of what you do. You get this. You understand it. So I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for the work that you're doing to give Americans hope from the standpoint of the jobs and taking care of the families of the people in this Appalachian region who maybe 5 years ago thought, you know, my way of life is finished because government decided that coal was a bad thing. Well, coal's not a bad thing. And the work that you're doing to show the ways to use it, the alternatives, and the rare earth elements, all of this give hope to families that their lives can be good going into the future, that there is hope and that there's a brightness about being an American. and the national labs are very much a part of that. So anyway, thank you for what you do. It's a great privilege to be on your team. And with that, Grace, I'm going to say thank you, and we're going to attempt to answer a few questions that you may have. Thank you.
I'm a little shorter. I'm a little shorter, you know. You're going to move this over? Okay, all good. Anyways, thank you. Thank you both for the comments, for your leadership, for your support and understanding, and just for the respect of, you know, the scientific and engineering community and the things that we deliver. We're just so proud to be able to do that every single day. I tell everybody, I said, so when you say you have the best job, well, I don't know, I think I do. It's really cool to be a director of a laboratory where you're doing such tremendous work that making a difference. And it's making a difference today, but more importantly, it's going to make a difference to the next generation. And I think that's what we're all about. So what we're going to do is, you know, over the last few days, we've asked our workforce, you know, if they wanted to ask any questions. So we kind of gathered them up. And so we have a few questions we'd like to ask, and maybe both of you can give us your perspective. But the first one, sir, it goes to you, Mr. Secretary. So now that you visited this great national laboratory here in Pennsylvania, especially today since we're here in Pennsylvania, maybe you can just, you know, maybe what inspired you and why?
Well, again, I'm going to go back to some specifics. And yesterday in Morgantown, we were looking at some different energy producing fuels, and one of the researchers, the scientists, the professionals that were there, I just asked her, I said, well, you said that she had a patent for this process, and I asked her, I said, how many patents? 20 patents, this one individual. And I think in that lab there's like 131 different patents that have been come out of there. So it's the level of expertise. It's the people who get drawn to a national lab that continues to really inspire me. Yeah, I mean, are we working on some really important things? Yes. I mean, you know, and I can go through and, you know, whether it's what Tom's doing in rare earth elements, or, you know, what you all are doing on how to peer into a shell zone 12,000 feet down and be able to share with the private sector, here's how your fracking fluid is going to affect this over the next, you know, decade. I mean, that's all fascinating, good, and important. But I go back to the thing that inspires me, and that was the question that your person asked. It's the men and women who dedicate their lives to this pursuit of the truth. And sometimes that's hard to ferret out in the world we live in today, Tim. And I know that, you know, those of us that kind of live in this political world, you know, but know that you have really important work, and what you do is of great import to this country. And that there are people all over America, including this congressman, 2 senators I was with yesterday, David, your colleague, that really respect what you do and know how blessed you are to have these labs in your district and in their states. And I know these governors are too. I worked really hard to try to get a national lab in Texas over 14 years. I was not successful with that.
We have an office.
I know.
There's a couple people in.
Anyway, it's a good thing to be wanted. So
Let me add to that too, and I'm glad you used the genius of American phrase. You can use that. I want to add 2 adjectives or 2 verbs to that. And this is where, in your role, in my role as a congressman, we represent 2 of the branches of government. Our job is not to hold you back. Our job is to help move you forward. And it was always so distressing to me when I would be holding a hearing as chairman of Oversight and Investigation, and literally a scene where the head of the Boilermakers in Pittsburgh says, we just want to work. We can build these power plants. We can do them better, more efficiently, more effectively. But if we create one more electron of electricity, we have to go the whole permitting process and shut it all down. But we could do it better. And the response from someone else, from another group, said, well, you're just going to have to find other jobs. And with their shoulder slumps is how? But what you're talking about here is inspiring and unleashing the genius of America, of what this is about. And then it really is that matter of bringing that horizon forward to us, and with all the energy we can do that with it.
Oh, sure, sure.
One thing, and this was, we left Morgantown this morning. We were at the University of West Virginia with a group pretty diverse. There was private sector folks. There were some industry representatives. There were obviously the university types,
Right.
and the folks from the National Lab. And their idea is to create a hub, if you will, to use, you're building I think Shell's building a big cracker plant not too far from here, and to really bring that value added back to this region. And when we talk about value added, we're talking about this coal, this gas, and to bring it to the surface to then add value to it. Not just send it off to a power plant to be burned, because there's so much value in that gas stream or in that coal stream, other than just to be burned as a fuel for a power plant. I told somebody, I said, an analogy would be that you cook breakfast this morning with some $100 bills. Well, you cook breakfast all right, but it's pretty expensive. But stripping out a lot of those product lines, and then, you know, with methane, ethane, ethylene, all the different things, and added value to it, and creating those jobs right here. And it gives America diversification. You know, as somebody was relating, you know, from time to time we have a hurricane on the Gulf Coast. And if you have the right size hurricane at the wrong time, you could really shut down a big part of the petrochemical capability in America. So having the alternative of another place to locate, and we're going to need it all. I mean, from the standpoint of being a supplier for the rest of the world of a lot of these products, why not right here in the Appalachian Valley? And I couldn't.
So that's why I have the coolest job.
It's up to
Because
you.
it's all about the innovation of that next generation of products and innovating those technologies that allow us to get those resources that are so valuable out of the ground. Sure, we have another question. So this question, I mean, so here we are, we all know that science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is important. It's important to all of us in this country. And so this world of science and how it's changing and trying to maintain, you know, interest in young people to take over, you know, take my job, take the jobs of the many of the people in here. Just would like to know, what are your thoughts on getting more young people involved in science, so that we can see, they can actually see that it's such a, you know, wonderful, wonderful career.
Well, having spent many years as a psychologist and having had a private practice working in Children's Hospital and worked with a child, it was always most unnerving to see a child who had lost hope and didn't really see much of a future for themselves. Pittsburgh saw that in the 1970s. We closed down a lot of steel mills. Many families either moved out or said, I don't know what I'm going to do next, and led to a lot of concern and despair. But Pittsburgh reinvented itself, right? We did that. We did that a couple times over time, and it's a matter of letting youth know. Sometimes when I'm talking to a high school class, I'll bring a lump of coal with me. I said, what is this besides your Christmas present? What is this? And they say it's a lump of coal, and I said, no, what is this? And many of them don't get it till I say, you know, we get about 38% of the energy of this. And I said, anybody who figures out to get 70 or 80%, you're going to win the Nobel Prize, and you'll probably be a multi-billionaire. Now their eyes light up. And so you have to know science, technology, engineering, and math to get there. The pushback we've had to tell parts of the country, no, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get it, and you don't deserve it. Let me tell you one of the psychological effects. If you ever go back and Google a map, disability rates by county in the United States, And then compare that map with drug overdose and death rates in the United States. They're almost identical. The hot areas, eastern Kentucky, southwestern Pennsylvania, follow the Ohio Valley up, things like that. Areas where you have poverty and loss of those kind of things, you end up with a lot more addiction. And now it's spread throughout the whole country. It's a national nightmare. We'll have more deaths this year from drug overdose, 59,000, than there are names on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall. Although most cases it begins with a prescription drug, it also mixed in with despair because 51% of opioids prescribed in the United States go to someone with a mood disorder. And that comes from, what am I going to do with my life and how terrible things are. There's no doubt that many of you in this room have a family member who has succumbed to this or you know someone with this. And this is what happens when you tell the next generation, you can't. It's not going to be there. I think it was either Thoreau or Emerson said something along the lines of, if someone tells you you can't do something, you go and prove to them that you can. And that's what the message needs to be to this next generation. We're not sitting on top of just rocks. We're sitting on top of an incredible array of opportunity. And that's how we do it, to say that studying those subjects means something powerful in global history right out of this area in the valleys.
Getting young people to graduate from high school is probably, I won't say the most important, but one of the most important things that government can do. As a governor, in 2002, Texas was about 27th in the nation in high school graduation rates. And that's pretty good, actually, when you think about it. Texas is a big state. We have 4+ million kids in our public schools. There was a lot of children in those public schools. Texas is not a rich state. I mean, we're not Connecticut, and we're very diverse. I mean, there's one school district down outside of Houston, like 96 different countries represented. Very, very diverse population. English is a second language, pretty high percentage in a lot of our schools. So being at 27th in the nation, yeah, there were probably some people say, oh, that's pretty good for a big state, to be in the middle of the pack's not bad. We thought we could do better, so we put some things into place to, like the largest incentive pay program in America for teachers. We really expanded charter schools. Charter schools basically says there's competition, and between the public schools and charter schools and private schools and what have you. We started testing our children. Doc, my bet is that you, as a psychologist, understand that if you can't identify where children are having problems, then you can't go in and try to give them the help they need in a timely fashion, and they lose that hope. And they get to be a freshman, and you face algebra, and you haven't been helped along the way, and you kind of say, I'm out of here, I'm going to drop out. And we saw a lot of that. Anyway, we put these things into place in the mid-2000s, and in a decade period of time, which is really pretty short when you think about this. Kids that were in the second grade were graduating from high school 10 years later, and Texas had gone from 27th in the nation to high school graduation rates to the second highest high school graduation rates in America. And if you were Hispanic or African American, you were number one. And the real story is that there were children who would have dropped out, whose lives were changed forever, but we were able to incentivize them and to put good practices into place where they graduated from high school. Then they were prepared to either get into a community college or a technical institution, or maybe they want to go to a four-year institution, whatever was their call, or they be prepared for the workforce, whatever. That was their call. But giving children the hope that they can stay in school and go do whatever they want to do, again, is really important. It's important, Grace, to show people like you. I talked about yesterday, let's come up with some ideas about, a little competition between the labs, where the labs come up with, here's the coolest thing that we're doing right now. And to go promote that, go in a public relations way, go share with people all across the country. And I'll promise you, there's some young girl in a classroom somewhere that story is going to light the imagination and give them the hope that I can be a part of that. And so this whole STEM making, I gave I can't remember whoever we were talking to within the last 10 days. Oh, I know, it was I got to do the press room at the White House like a week ago, which is a real trip. I highly recommend it for all of
Yeah.
you to drive. But I talked about we're going to try to make nuclear cool again. When I was a kid growing up and the space program and nuclear energy, it was really cool to be involved with that. And there were a lot of kids that went into nuclear engineering. And then we've let it atrophy for the last 30 years. You know, we've got a space program that's, you know, we need to resurrect to innovate and to be, you know, make America, what'd that guy say? Make America great again? Yeah, I'm for that. Let's go.
Well, it's all about innovation, and really that's what our laboratory is all about. I mean, we're trying to do every day to contribute to that greatness and to reach out, you know, as much as we can to the next generation. So, first of all, I just want to thank you. I know how busy you are, and for you to dedicate, sir, 2 days to come and learn about our laboratory. We're blessed with that. Congressman, thank you for spending the afternoon with us, sharing your perspectives, meeting some of the people in the lab. Again, thank you for your support. It's just a tremendous opportunity for all of us inside of our laboratory system. And before we all go, I wanted to, you know, I just have a small little gift for the secretary. And we'll try to, I'll help you. I always like opening the gift.
Okay, go.
It's like at home, right? You can read the card later, they say.
My daughter does that.
Does she?
She's the
So, you know, I mean, you can't come to, you know, we talk about everything that's right below us, right?
Yeah.
And you talk about innovation and creativity. Well, this is a real creative gift. So what we have here,
That's awesome.
you know, to Secretary Perry from NETL, a little piece of coal that comes from this region. Comes from, that's right.
Thank you all. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you.